So just a little bit about Leadership Tribe. It's a global agile consulting organization. So we have presence in UK, US, Canada, all over the world, and we work with various clients and organizations with multiple cultures. And there's a lot we have learned, and we also created a group, alumni, people who we have trained, people who we coach, mentor. So use the wisdom of the crowd and give it back to you. On the same note, I have met this wonderful lady, Lindy. She's an enterprise coach, a trainer of life coaches, and she had a remarkable journey where she learned, experimented, tried with various organizations, and she's working with Leadership Tribe so that we can bring that knowledge back to you. Say for example, some companies, if they want, Krishna, can you help us to do a webinar in your location where we can do it only for you? Sometimes we can do specific training for you, or we can do transformational coaching, or bring in some of our consultants and work with you. There are different things we do. The intent is, there's so much knowledge, let's disseminate it. The only way an individual or a leader or a team can grow is they can train somebody else along the journey. The more you can train, the more you can give the energy back to the community. That matters. That really matters. Good. So on that note, I will hand it over to Lindy. And Lindy, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Krishna, and welcome everybody. And thank you for joining us. So in the chat box, what I would like you to think about is very quickly, why do you think that organizations need an agile coach? If I can just have a few ideas around the topic. Okay. Guys, in the chat box, if you could please just answer this question. Why do you think organizations need an agile coach? Why is it important to have an agile coach as part of the team? Okay, thank you. To help organizations adopt and adapt. Yes, thank you, Renee. Devante, to ensure a business can remain consistent with their goals of achieving agility. To organize and execute programs seamlessly. Thank you, Sunil. Prasad, to ensure that everyone in an organization would understand the importance of being agile to grow in this dynamic world. Thank you, Rajita, to guide the teams with agile principles. Okay. And Chadwick also said, because others than vendors or consultants haven't got the competency. Yes, that's correct. So sometimes the competency is not within the organization, and we need to get consultants to deliver that to the organization. Okay, Garfield, thank you for that. It's also to having that agile knowledge and work the agile model as well. Okay, so thank you very much for that and for your feedback. So Agile, as we all know it, and some people on this program might be project managers already or just new to Agile, but Agile is quite easy to understand, but it is hard to master, resulting in many leaders running into problems when they actually make that switch. So most of these problems are because of unrealistic expectations of how easy it is to implement agility within a team. So there is sort of an expectation that it's quite easy. For example, if we look at Scrum, Scrum is quite huge because if we look at the model, it seamlessly offers a one-size-fits-all solution, which is easy to implement. However, every situation is different, and therefore the Agile coach's role becomes critical. Is there anybody in the group that would like to just maybe share one comment about what I just said? Is that your experience, that sometimes once you actually implement the Agile process, you come across some problems and challenges that you have not thought about or actually anticipated. If you can write it in the chat box, if there's anything, any comment of anybody. Okay, so this is the situation when an Agile coach becomes a valuable addition to the team. So this is why we're having this webinar. This webinar is really to talk about Agile coaching, about the competencies of an Agile coach, and in particular, the enterprise Agile coach. And I think that's why many people are on this webinar as well. So basically, the Agile coach's job is to figure out why are we getting into these problems, especially when Agile is not delivering the expected results, number one. And secondly, what steps needs to be taken to remedy the situation. So this is when we move into Agile. So I'm just going to briefly share with you the bigger picture here of why we actually talking about an enterprise Agile coach. And this really starts with leadership. If we look at the measure of a leader, it is really about her or his ability to develop other leaders and to grow other leaders. And that starts with a growth mindset. So you need to have that growth mindset. And as you can see on that picture, it is really about growing people. That is what leadership is about. It's also about your intent to help others to lead. So again, today we're looking at leadership in a completely different way, where it's really about you as a leader moving on to the next organization or to the next department or the next team, enabling the team members to be able to get the job done and empowering them to do what they need to do. If we look at coaching, just briefly, coaching in an Agile perspective. So here again, how does it now link to coaching? What does it mean? So the measure of a coach is really when they can see the hidden potential within a person. And that really is what coaching is. All the skills and tools that you will be learning throughout your journey of becoming a coach will be additional. It again starts with your intent and your mindset of looking at a person or a team or an individual or even an organization on a holistic level and thinking about the hidden potential that is within this organization. So in the chat box, if you could please just quickly think, what is an enterprise Agile coach? So we've talked about leadership. We've talked about coaching. What do you think is an enterprise Agile coach? If I could please have a few answers of some people in the group, that would be great. Somebody, Devante, thank you. Somebody who looks beyond the team level. Yes, and also looking at scaling the organization. Okay, we're looking at transformation of a business and also the technology. So yes, in the sense of enterprise Agile coach, it's the holistic part of it. And also to help the organization adopt the Agile mindset. Prashant, well done. And one who can transform the culture of changing situations. Okay, so all of this is correct. Systems thinking, thank you. Okay, so these are all important parts, okay, of Agile coaching, and especially enterprise Agile coaching. So if we have a look at various Agile coaching concepts, this is the path that we need to cover when we look at Agile coaching. So first of all, it starts with the coach or the team coach or the facilitator as well. If you could please just briefly write down, or if anybody can comment on, what do you think a team coach does? What is the difference between a team coach and an Agile coach? Sorry guys, just quickly had to Okay, so what is the difference between a team coach and an agile coach? Okay, team coach helps the team to overcome challenges, yes. Okay, an agile coach, again, looking at the mindset. Okay, a scrum master can also be a team coach, yes. So these are the different certifications. Perhaps again, you are familiar with these certifications that you can take for you to become a team coach or an agile coach or an enterprise coach. As you can see here, it's a journey. And team leader could be a team coach as well. Yes, definitely. Thank you for that, Prashant. So this is how it looks like. So this is the path. So first of all, just to clarify, a team coach is really there to introduce and maintain the agile processes and the ceremonies. For example, if we have the daily stand-ups, the team coach is there to implement those ceremonies, and also, secondly, very importantly, to make sure that it adds value to the team, so that it's not just the ceremony that everybody does. Secondly, the agile coach, when you move to the next level, is then responsible for creating and improving these processes, agile processes, and in particular also integrating the agile teams. If we have a look at the enterprise agile coach, works on an enterprise level. As we all know, that is where they work. And they are not so much involved in the day-to-day implementation and creating and introducing or maintaining these processes, but rather helping to change the overall company structure to facilitate agile principles. So what makes these people different is that they are very good at coaching, especially executive coaching, leadership coaching. They're also aware of organizational processes and transformation, and also change management. So there's a completely new set of skills and competencies that an enterprise agile coach needs to have. So before we talk a little bit more about the enterprise agile coach, let's just have a look at this framework, and perhaps you've seen it already, which is the 7 competencies of an agile coach. So here, if we have a look at this, we can see that there is a lot of things that's going on. So let's start with the beginning. So this is a great slide as well, because it explains everything that you need to have, all these competencies to be able to be a successful, effective agile coach. So first of all, it starts with the agile and the lean practitioner skills. You need to be able to have those skills and to know it inside and out. Then we're also looking at the mindset and the behaviors, and this is linked to leadership. And again, you can be a team coach and have the mindset of an enterprise coach. So you can also be a team coach and have the behavior of one of the best leaders in the organization. So this doesn't really depend on your position in the organization. It really depends on the behaviors that you have every day to show that you are a leader, that you have the intent to grow and develop other people. And then also the people and influencing competency. So this is where we need to sell things to a team. We need to be able to have that influence on people. If we have a look at the left side of this, it is really about imparting knowledge. So a big part of being an agile coach is to be able to teach other people to be agile and all the processes and principles. Also, it has the facilitating competency there, which really helps people to guide them to solutions. Again, here we really need to almost be neutral, where we believe that all the knowledge is there. Remember, we talked about the hidden potential. There's a hidden potential within individuals and within teams. So we're moving away from guiding and telling people what to do to asking questions and facilitating the team to be able to get to their solution. If we have a look at coaching and mentoring, again, It is really about that hidden potential. It's about coaching people, inspiring people, and there's a whole range of coaching skills that we teach, but that you can also develop. That's going to help you in terms of being a coach. And when you want to become an enterprise coach, again, this means that you need to be very familiar with executive coaching and leadership coaching. Mentoring, as we all know it, here is really, again, imparting your knowledge and helping people to get into the next level and to be able to acquire all the skills that they need. And lastly, if we have a look here at the foundations of this model, and this is very important because many people have the technical mastery, they have all the software development, Six Sigma, all of those skills as well. But it's also, as an enterprise coach, to become more aware of the advanced agile processes that is at play at this in here. Business mastery, again, it's about the strategy, it's about the organization, it's about transformation and the overall strategy of the organization, and that also fits into transformation mastery. So each of these disciplines, practices, competencies, as you may call it, makes up an agile coach. So many people will then ask, okay, so this is the competencies of an agile coach. So what makes an enterprise agile coach different? If I could maybe stop here and just, if you could share in the chat box, what do you think makes an enterprise agile coach different from an agile coach or a team coach or facilitator? If I could have some people sharing that. Yes, thank you, Garfield. Yes, it's about knowing how to run the business. Okay, and also having the business acumen, also having that knowledge about business agility. Can anybody else? Is there any other ideas? What makes it different? Okay, Prasad. Yes, very important is that you need to be able to inspire people. And you need to be able to develop those cultures within the organization. Let's say one more person, helping the business achieve values fast. Okay, it's about rather the team. Yes. Okay, it's more about the enterprise than the teams. Being able to compete. Yes, very well, Tracy. It's also that competitiveness and to be able to know the organization in terms of the country, the social, economic circumstances that is in that country at the moment. As we know, a company like Roche will be different, operating differently from a company that is in South Africa. Same pharmaceutical company, but there's different things at play. An agile coach should understand the business processes, technology in the organization. Yes. Strategy. Okay. So all of these important things, does it mean enterprise coach needs to be aware of factors? Prashant, keeping in mind, yes, it's a good question, Prashant. We'll park that one for Q&A. We are going to have a Q&A after this session. The business drivers, yes, and again, it's the economic, the socio-economic drivers that is there in the organization, but also outside. If we look at the cultures, okay. If we're thinking about the pandemic at the moment, I mean, what sort of influence does that have on the organization, on the people? Thank you very much, everybody, for that. So if we have a look, just briefly, it is enterprise agile coaching is an advanced form of agile coaching. So people work on an enterprise level. And as I said before, the executive leadership coaching and facilitation is critical. So this is very important. Again, people need to be able to draw upon their management consulting skills, organizational design, and also enterprise change management. And ultimately, I think Prashant said it as well, it is really about building that team culture. It's about building the culture within the organization, developing leaders so that when you leave or you go to the next organization or team, you have competent people that are actually able to lead. And then lastly, it is also very important to have to be aware of those complex adaptive systems of Agile. So on a piece of paper, I hope everybody's got a piece of paper. If you don't, just think about this question. So in this question, I would like to ask you, looking at the skills and the competencies of an enterprise Agile coach, where are you at the moment? Which of those skills or competencies do you have? So if you can just write that down. So what is your current skills and the competencies that you have? Remember, this is all about you. You don't need to share anything here. It is because you took the time to be on this webinar, which means that you are interested in your development and in furthering, your career in this field. So just quickly write down current skills, competencies that you have. Then secondly, the second question is, what skills or competencies do you need? If you can just take a minute just to write down, what is it that you need to take you to the enterprise Agile level? And then lastly, I would like you to think about the following questions. What action are you going to take? What is the next steps that's going to help you to get there? Remember, you need to invest in yourself as a leader and a coach. That's the first thing, is to become self-aware, to become a better leader, because it starts with you. We can only lead people when we lead ourselves, when we trust ourselves, when we are comfortable to say that I am a role model and I am a leader and coach. So just think about a few steps that you can take that's going to help you to get there. Okay, if I could maybe have one or two people that can just share in the chat box, what is it that you are planning to do to get you from where you are now to where you want to be? And everybody can participate in this if you don't mind sharing. Just what is it that you need to do? Vivek, skills, business planning competencies, and mentoring, yes. Kashika, yes. Business planning and change management, yes. And change management is a whole new area that you can learn, especially now during this time where every organization is going through change. Maybe one more person can share with us. Okay, simple. Thank you for that. Learning about business transformation skills, Tracy, well done. Political skills. Okay, so again, it's about negotiation. It's about influencing. How do we do that? Handling change management better, definitely. Okay. So as long as we become aware of those small steps that we need to take for us to become a better leader, for us to become a better coach. And again, this is a great framework that you can use, and maybe you can even add anything here that we've missed. Perhaps there's something else that you need to learn, need to be able to, to counsel people. Sometimes it's important to also have the counseling skills as well. But it really starts with having that framework that I've introduced to you guys, and start with that to see where can you fill the gaps and which is the areas that you need to develop. So I'm gonna now open up, Krishna, if you could also join me. We've allocated some time for Q&A. If there's anybody that would like to ask a question, and then Krishna and myself will be able to answer this the best that we can. Krishna?
Thank you, Lindy. Okay, in the Q&A section, I'll be more than happy if you can put your questions in there. And me and Lindy will be taking turns to support it. I'm trying to switch on my camera. For some bizarre reason, it says the host is not loving me. I'm the bloody host. I don't know what's happening right now. So let's see. So put your questions in there and I'll be more than happy. Is there a certification path for enterprise coaching, Senthil? Yes, there is. Senthil, one thing I would advise you is certification is not the key. Saying that, I feel a little bit contradictory with myself because I train enterprise and agile coaches myself. The learning journey is very important in the certification itself. There are plenty of training partners out there. Visit them with locally or internationally and see what can help you, who can help you, and and see what you can do. Because when you talk about the learning part, you definitely must and should have the facilitation skills, which also helps you with your negotiation skills, where you're trying to bring in two parties together, trying to deliver some sort of a value. And not only that, it's also learning to be a coach, where you're helping people to find their own answers and mentoring them. And you're also bringing in your change management. How do you bring change in the organization? I have a question for everyone. Out of curiosity, when was the last time you changed for the sake of changing? Type it in the chat window. When did you change for the sake of changing? When was the last time your teams or your organizations changed for the sake, in the name of changing? When there's a threat or a consequence. So things do change when shit hits the roof. Say, for example, I was working with a good friend of mine, a great friend. He was like the Mr. Chimney. You see him smoke all the time. He loves his cigarettes. It's brilliant, great guy. I used to smoke as well with him. And one day, doctors gave him 6 months to 9 months to live if he doesn't, because it was in a very, he had some big spots in his lungs, and they gave him some time to live. In that time, he changed his lifestyle. And this was 15 years ago. He's still alive with some 2 wonderful kids. With COVID, things have changed right now. Some of us, we can't even meet our own parents or our grandparents to give them a hug. That's so wrong. It is. we can't do it, what we can't do. There is something which will help you. You need to find out what is the trigger. And when it comes to change, it can be either people, process, product, or environment. So see what you can do at that moment of time to help your organization move forward. It doesn't mean that you're going to change the world. Even if it's 1 degree right now, 1 degree change, over a longer period of time, it will be even more longer. Good. So they are certification central. So we got some interesting stuff. We got some codes as well, discount codes. Take advantage of it. We have a program coming up next week. I'll be more than happy to share that information with you. There's a voucher. You can use it, so you can get 20% discount off it. And if you want more information, drop a note to hello@Leadership Tribe or Dev, DEV at Leadership Tribe. So my colleague Dev, he's been putting that information in there. So reach out to him. I'll be more than happy.
Krishna, Vivek has asked, what is the difference between a Scrum Master and an Agile Coach? Do you mind to answer that question?
Good. So when you use the word Scrum Master, you need to remember a person who's following a process, and he's the master of the process, like a master of that framework. The underlying essence is, you need to remember, the underlying essence of that frame of Agile is individuals and interactions over processes and tools. Scrum is a process. So if you want to be a coach or a team coach, you need to remember it's not only the processes, it's also the people, the product, and the environment. So you need to look holistically from the team, from your client's perspective, from your team's perspective. That's the environment you're working in. And when you're working in that kind of an environment, it's a little bit more. So as an Agile coach, you will be facilitating, you will be mentoring, you will be coaching, you'll be bringing change in, and you'll also be teaching, training. And the most important thing is you're following your Lean, Agile mindset principles and values. And for all these things to get through together, what Lindy has explained to you, you also need your people skills. And it's very important. So when you talk about a Scrum Master, the Scrum Master, personally, I'm not a great fan of the word master for some bizarre reason. I wish I could explain to you in a better way. As a human being, you're not a master of anybody. You're a master of yourself. I get that. It's all about the people. It's all about the human beings you work with. So working as an Agile coach, you need to go above and beyond and see what is in it for them and what are the things you can do to help them to be successful. So the word servant leadership is being often used in the Agile environment. So what do you need to do to take a step forward? That's very important. So how better technical knowledge that AEC should have to succeed in this role? So with respect to the technical knowledge, some people are passionate about DevOps, some people are passionate about analytics, some people are passionate about in their own field. And I also work with some auditing organizations. They are also passionate about the rules, the processes, the procedures they have in their organization, how badly they want to go. And I also work with some scientists. So I don't understand how they work, but if I'm able to understand the intent and what is the outcome we need to deliver because of X, Y, and Z, that's important. The nitty-gritty, how does the application work? You need to be aware of what it is and understand what is the intent behind this, what you are doing, and help them to achieve it. That's the most important thing, intent and the outcome. And that's how you can deliver the value. Even though if you don't understand rocket science and you can work with the team of rocket scientists to help deliver a project, I will not be surprised. It can be done. And I've seen people work in that area as well. Say for your CEO in your organization, does it matter if he doesn't understand DevOps and you got an amazing team to deliver the DevOps? It's putting the right people in to get that. So the answer is, Prasad, is it's nice to have. If you want more, I think it's up to you how deep you want to go into. Do I have to be? The answer is no, as long as you're aware and understanding the intent of it and take it from there. Good. Enterprise coaches. There's another question from Prashant Karandikar. Enterprise coaches, does she have to be from within the organization? How will an external EAC help organization help them navigate through the agile journey? Thank you very much for Prashant for putting it as a journey. Agile is not a destination. It's not an end goal. It's a journey. It's always a journey. So when you're working with an organization, doesn't mean that you have to be an internal coach and external coach. From me, I have a client called, I work with various clients. I work as an enterprise coach. One thing with an external coach is they don't come with baggage. They're completely independent, and it'll really help you if you can help you to play a neutral role where you're asking questions you don't know about. If something is not right, you'll be able to put that in front of them like a mirror. And that is really helpful. But having an internal coaches, people understand the politics, they know how to jump over hoops. There are advantages of having an internal coaches and external coaches. And sometimes you need to bring in external coaches to get a complete different view or work in items because you don't have the manpower. So yes, having internal and external coaches definitely helps. And working as an external coach, I have worked with various organizations, and it's good. It's brilliant as well. So Senthil says, okay, what is the best career path, best jobs, formations to become an agile coach? Okay, if for a career path, agile coach is not a title. Of course, if you're looking for, I want to become an agile coach, you can become an agile coach, you can get your certifications. I would recommend you to look at what are the things I can do to look at the skills, what Lindy has explained to you in front of you. Lindy has explained to you about the mindset and behaviors, agile lean practices and the processes. She also spoke about having the people skills, mentoring, training, coaching, facilitating. You got the transformation mastery, business mastery, technical mastery. So there are so many facets out there. Start investing in yourself. Look at the entire picture. Where are you? She asked a wonderful question, which was really inspiring for me. What are you currently working on? Where are you right now? What are the skills you have? And where do you want to be? What are the skills you want to have? And what are the actions you're going to take? So you need to understand where you are, where you want to be. The answer to it is, for your career path, when I say agile coaches, if you have a leader in your organization who's coaching, mentoring, training, facilitating, and playing all the roles, it doesn't matter the title. The skills matter, your attitude matters, your intent matters. So it comes back to you. So there are multiple career paths for agile coaches, but before the career path, understand the intent. Again, it comes back to the purpose. What is in it for you? And where are you right now? Where do you want to be? And what are the things you can do? So there are multiple ways. I don't have one way to say that follow the step 1 to 5, you will become an awesome coach. I don't have an answer. If I do have an answer, I'll be lying to you. So intent matters, and investigate, explore, invest in yourself, learn. And yes, within your organization, you can also work with your team, say, I want to become an agile coach. What are the things you can do? Or get yourself or a mentor or a coach, or both. One of my favorite examples I have is, how many of you seen Olympics? In the chat window, yes or no? That should be fine. Quickly type in, we got a yes. Okay, looks like Prashant. Oh, we got few people who have seen Olympics. Good. All right. And the people who have Olympics, who have seen Olympics, the sports person, do they have coaches, mentors, coaches with them? So if you want to win the Olympics for yourself, in your career, get yourself a coach or a mentor, a career coach or a mentor who can help you to be better than what you are doing. So it's up to you. If you want to be a normal person or an Olympian, in your career. It's your call. And that's the call you're going to take. Good. So,
Krishna Garfield also asked how to start a good relationship with senior management when your scope is only for teams.
okay, the first question comes down to, I got few answers, Lindy. I'm going to give some answers. I would like you to chip in as well. When I work with my senior stakeholders, there is always a reason why. Why do I need this dude or that lady to help me in my day-to-day work? When you're talking about stakeholders, these stakeholders are the people who will give you the power to do miracles. And saying that, these are the same people who can pull the rug under your feet and you'll be on your ass. That's going to that has happened. So you need to understand the influence and power of these senior stakeholders. So that's a grid you take, understanding, mapping your stakeholders. And once you understand your stakeholders, what is in it for them? What is in it for you? It's nobody wants to become a stakeholder in a project for the sake of it. I'm bored. Let me jump into that project and see if I can become a stakeholder. It doesn't. Everybody has a personal stake in the project. If they don't, they want to be informed or they want to be getting their hands dirty. Understand from their perspective. Understand from their perspective. So once you're able to understand, you will be able to have a meaningful dialogue with your stakeholders. You will be able to have a meaningful dialogue with your stakeholders, because having that meaningful dialogue, there is a reason, because they need to help you to achieve the goals for the organization or for the teams. And they also have the same similar stake, but different perspectives. So you need to look at from their perspective and see how you can achieve the goals by delivering value. So stakeholder management is very important. If you're talking about a topic, I don't think the 15 minutes will help me to elaborate the entire to train you on the stakeholders. How are you going to coach them? How are you going to mentor them? How are you going to work with them? And how are you going to create an opportunity where you can influence them in their decisions? Some people I've worked with, there's like, Krishna, how do I tell my boss no? It's hard work sometimes to say no to people. It's really hard work. And at the same time, it's quite easy if you understand simple things. Again, it comes back to people skills. So bringing back to Lindy, she also spoke about people skills as what part of the spectrum, the picture she has showed you. So yes, you do need to have your people skills, the negotiation skills. The person who can negotiate, they always have an upper hand. So that's very important. That's my 2 cents of wisdom. So Lindy, over to you. Any thoughts or questions on senior stakeholder coaching or management?
Yeah, definitely. I think you summarized it. The most important thing is to get their perspective, to involve them in the process, ask what do they think about it, and really just start to ask questions, because sometimes that their perspective can also change perhaps the direction that you are going into at the moment, because the buy-in is really about getting people to talk about what they think, their ideas. And sometimes they can also bring innovation and creativity when we start to ask questions. So it's not just on senior management level, even with the operational people, we can sometimes ask them, what do they think? Because it just involves everybody in the process.
Thank you, Lindy. So I've seen a question from Vivek. In a competitive age, roadmaps-driven organizations, how do they look at it in Agile Coach EAC? It would like to share your experience. In a competitive age, yes, it's a competitive age because we live in a volatile, it's called VUCA, volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous environment. This is a term coined by the American military in the 1940s. We are living in a VUCA environment. It's volatile. Things are going pear-shaped. Sometimes you don't even know what's going to happen next. Today, in England, right now, in England, I live in London, west of London. We are in lockdown from 2 days ago. People can't meet outside their own households. It's strange. It's really strange. It is what it is. So we are living in a volatile environment. When you talk about roadmaps, a roadmap is a hypothesis. It's like a prayer. By doing X, we need to do X, so to deliver some sort of a value. For us to do X, I need to do X, Y, and Z. So that means that's a roadmap. It's a hypothesis. When you're working and living in a volatile, uncertain, complex environment, things do change. And your roadmap needs to change as the things moving along. So it's an interesting game. Some companies, some organizations, some even governments, you see 5-year plan, 10-year plan, 15 years plan, when the variables are fine. Right now, variables are changing all the time. So your roadmap needs to adapt and change. And for that, putting a mirror in front of the leaders, you need coaches, you need facilitators, and some people are working at the enterprise level. So you need to bring that kind of a perspective. So it's not like one skill, it's going to make you awesome. You need to have multiple skills. Say, for example, let me ask you a simple, stupid, dumb question. How many of you had a leaking pipe in your house where you had to bring a plumber in or a workman to help you solve a problem? Type it in the chat window. How many of you had to bring a consultant in to solve a leaking pipe or some problem in your house? In your chat window. How many of you had the experience of bringing some person to fix a problem in your house? All right. So when you bring that kind of a consultant, they have a toolkit. It hammer, screwdriver, electronic, there will be a toolkit. Depending on the problem, they will use the tool, depending on the problem. So as a coach, mentor, facilitator, leader, you need to know and understand what is the problem. Depending on the problem, you might be using value stream mapping. That's a tool. You might be using coaching, mentoring, training, depending on the problem. If in your toolkit, you only have something called, hey, Scrum, amazing framework, only Scrum. In the name of Scrum, you will be battering everything. You need to have a different perspective. So you need to have multiple tools. So when problems change, you might be changing the tools. You need to keep your tools up to date on bring in more tools. And for that, you need to invest. You need to learn, you need to work, you need to practice. I've learned something online. I saw a person get on a bicycle. I saw a video. Don't expect that you're going to be on a bicycle next day making things happen. Maybe you're a smart ass, a great person, a really intelligent person. But not everyone are the same. So you need to practice. That perspective, that attitude to try, practice, and having a collaboration with your colleagues, getting yourself a coach, getting yourself a mentor, working with your leaders. So you need to look at it holistically. It's just not like one tool, one skill, which will make you better in everything you do. There are multiple ways. And there is not one answer. There are multiple answers as well. So again, it comes back to you. Invest in yourself, get yourself some tools, some practices, some frameworks, so you can start experimenting and trying them. If you have in your toolkit, if you have the only one tool called a hammer, what will you be doing? You will be hammering the damn thing in front of you. Everything looks like a nail because you have only one thing called hammer. It doesn't work. Improve your skills, invest in yourself, and pair up with other coaches from other companies. Pair up with other people who can help you, who are in the same situation. And see what you can experiment and try different things. I hope that answers your question. Lindy, do you have anything to add?
That's it. I think you've covered everything. I think we still have 10 minutes or 9 minutes left. So I think there was a couple of people that asked about the courses and what we offer. I saw a few questions in the chat box. So if we could maybe move on to that part. Grace said, using the right tools at the right time, achieve effectiveness and efficiency. Yes.
Can't agree, Grace.
That's
Remember,
100%.
I can't agree more. On that note, this is my quote. A fool with a tool is still a fool. So that would be your call. A fool with a tool is still a fool. So I will leave it there. It's not about the tools, it's about the human being. because this human being understands what the current situation and use the right tool. It's just not like only things there. There will be tons of opportunities. And what we have also done is on Leadership Tribe LinkedIn page, we have tons of free content. Go download it. My colleague Devante has put a link there. Follow the company. Whenever we publish a new tool or a new frameworks or something which we have learned and experienced, even the people who work with us, they post a lot of stuff free. Take advantage of it. Steal shamelessly or borrow brilliance. So we have an opportunity for you to do it. I'll be more than happy. So we got still 8 more minutes. I'll quickly go through a couple of slides for the upcoming programs. When we showed you about the different training parts, so to become an enterprise coach, you start with the basic skills of facilitation, where you bring both the worlds together for a common outcome, and you use different tools, different techniques, different frameworks to get the intent behind it. So facilitation skills is the key. It's like a 2 days program. Sometimes we do part-time as well as a 4 days. And the next one is the Agile Coaching Skills, where we dig deeper around the coaching, mentoring, and change and transformation. We will also touch base on the facilitation as well as training. And people are interested in business mastery. We will also be exploring the business mastery as well. That's at the Agile Coaching. So we run the Agile Coaching Bootcamp every month. Sometimes we even do twice. For example, in the next slide, you will see the upcoming Agile Coach Bootcamp, which is on November, which is happening next week, Monday. So there is a code called Effective 20. And if you're from Americas or Europe, reach out to dev@leadershiptribe.com. If you're from Asia Pacific, for example, Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, New Zealand, or Australia, or even India, reach out to Chitra. She will be sending the details to you and her contact number as well, and more than happy. For Asia Pacific, that's Chitra's details as a contact. We'll be more than happy. And when it comes to enterprise coaching, which you will see in our next slide, which is we have an upcoming program for the enterprise coaching in December as well. So we have a lot of programs. Doesn't mean that you come down to Leadership Tribe and get baptized in the name of Agile. No, there are amazing training partners out there. IC Agile, they vet the trainers. They also vet the content to make sure the outcomes are being delivered. There are some amazing people I've worked with, so take advantage of it. There are plenty of opportunities out there. And if you have any questions, just feel free to drop a note to hello@leadershiptribe.com as well. Okay, so on that note, so as Leadership Tribe, we are more than happy to pass some of our knowledge and skills to you, because we believe in bringing it back to the community. And when you say bringing it back to the company, these kind of webinars, we can do it dedicated for your organizations, or we do bespoke training programs for organizations as well. Feel free to reach out to us and see what we can do to support you in your journey. So on that note, I will hand it over to Lindy, so Lindy can conclude the session for us.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much, Krishna. So just, I think, Devante, if you could also send the social media links, because there's a couple of links, and if you could maybe also be aware of that, where there's a lot of posts that's happening on a daily basis, and also free things that you can download. And yeah, then I just want to say thank you very much. Thank you for spending your precious Saturday with us, and we really hope that we will see you again. And again, if there's any questions that we perhaps haven't answered during the session, or that you have, please contact us on hello@leadershiptribe.com.